Alright, so I'm going to be doing something new for the channel. And I guess new for me, whatever. One thing you guys need to know about me is that I am a collector. Not a collector of really expensive things. I don't buy the best shoes around. I'm not a philatler looking for the oldest, most rarest post stamps that you can possibly get. I'm not someone who collects toenails or anything like that. I am a collector of Monopoly. And you might say, that's a really weird thing to collect. Also, Monopoly is a terrible board game. And you'd be right about both of those things. But I love it anyways. Now, I am bad at Monopoly. I don't know anyone that actually really likes Monopoly. And most people that I play Monopoly with never finish a game. Because who finishes Monopoly ever? So, you might wonder why I like Monopoly so much. And it's because of how many variations there are. There are so many different kinds of Monopoly that I think there's more Monopolies than there are types of apples. There are around 2,800 Monopolies in the world right now. So, here's a correction. I didn't even realize I made this mistake. I could have sworn I had looked this up previously, but I am not even close to how many Monopolies there are. As a matter of fact, the number I said was so insane that for those who do know the actual number, probably immediately looked at me like I was stupid and had no idea what I was talking about. I looked it up now because I was curious about what is the actual disparity between Monopolies and apples. Completely wrong. There are more than 300 versions of Monopoly. There are not nearly 3,000, all right? There's not 2,800 Monopolies out there. I don't know what made me think that there was, but I don't know. I'm insane. What can I say? My apologies. My apologies to any other Monopoly collectors out there. I probably just made myself sound really ignorant, but I should probably just cut that, shouldn't I? I'm not gonna, but I probably should. My collection is about 40. I got around 40 Monopolies. It's not a lot, but I haven't been doing this for very long. And as a matter of fact, I haven't collected a new Monopoly in a couple months. But I decided that I want to show off some Monopolies. Not saying these Monopolies are especially good. I have some pretty cool ones. Some of them are even still in their wrappers. But I am just going to go off of whichever one tickles my fancy at the time. And today, I decided that we're going with Disney Princess Junior Monopoly. Now, I'm going to be going over the rules of each one of these Monopolies. I'm going to be going over what makes them different from normal Monopoly. Now, I don't know the standard rules for Monopoly Junior, so that's not going to be, whatever. But we're not worried about that. We're just worried about it being a Monopoly. I have actually a lot of Monopoly Juniors. I have normal Monopoly Junior, one from the 90s. I have Monopoly Junior that's Mario themed, Mario Kart Monopoly Junior, and also Mario Kart normal Monopoly. But, of course, we're starting with this one. So, let's get into this box and see what makes it so special. Alright, so first we have Junior Monopoly Princess Edition. Obviously, we got not all the Disney princesses, but a majority of the Disney princesses. We have Pocahontas. I can't remember the name. I think Belle from Beauty and the Beast, Aurora from Sleeping Beauty, Ariel, Jasmine, Cinderella, and Mulan from Mulan. I know, surprise, surprise. But let's take a good look at this box. Obviously, I didn't get this in the best condition ever made. It's not the worst condition, but it's obviously been used. The edges are kind of messed up. There's a dent in it. it's not the best condition. I normally get most of my Monopolies from a thrift store. That is the best way to get them, in my opinion, because Monopolies are expensive. They're like $40 each. Even the junior Monopolies are like $40 each. So, this just makes things a lot easier for me, getting them from a thrift store where I'm spending like between $2 and $10 for each. So, we flip off to the back, and we have the board. Obviously, I'm going to actually take out the board and let you see it, but this just gives us a little sneak peek. Let me read this for you. We have play Monopoly Junior with the Disney princesses. Choose your favorite princess to dash around the game board to buy homes for as many Disney friends as you can. When other players land on your space, they must pay you to visit. But be careful not to run into Maleficent or Ursula, or you'll have to pay. Collect the most amount of money by the end of the game to win. Choose from 8 Disney princesses: Ariel, Pocahontas, Snow White. I'm guessing Snow White was the one whose name I couldn't remember. Belle, Cinderella, Jasmine, Sleeping Beauty, and Mulan. I don't know why Sleeping Beauty is always called Sleeping Beauty when she has a name. I'm fairly certain it's Aurora. But they just put Sleeping Beauty. I guess it's because that's what most people know her as. But now that we're done with the box, because I'm not going to go over all the copyright things or whatever, let's move on to the actual pieces and see what's interesting about them. Alright, so now that we have everything set up, and that took me a long time, by the way. Like, you guys didn't see it because I obviously cut it out of the video, but that took me like 10 minutes to set all this up because whoever owned this last had little goodie bags to put them all in, but didn't actually put them in the goodie bags. So let's start off with the least interesting things first, and then obviously go to the most interesting. So down here, as you can see, we have the money. Very simple. With Junior Monopoly, the difference between it, one of the differences between it and normal Monopoly is that the monies are way smaller. You have 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s. Obviously, in normal Monopoly, you have 1s, 5s, 10s, 20s, 50s, 100s, and 500s. Of course, there are other Monopolies with like special things, which we will eventually get to. I actually have a Spider-Man Monopoly that doesn't use money at all. It has special coins. But we will get to that when we get to it. Next up, we have something else that is slightly different from normal Monopolies, is the chance cards are only chance. There is no community chest in Junior Monopolies. Now, these ones are all, obviously Disney princess themed. You have Aladdin, you have... Well, I just have no clue. It says John Smith. Okay, so that one's from Pocahontas. You have Cinderella. This one is just Monopoly themed. You have Maleficent. You have, I think, Cinderella again. You have, well, all right. I'm a little stupid. All right. I don't watch Disney movies, old ones at least. I haven't seen most of them. But this one is not Cinderella. I think this is Snow White. But they all come with like different Disney related ones. But no community chest, which I find very interesting. I know it's done to speed up the game and to make things easier for kids. They don't have to worry about too many different things. They don't have to think about too many different things. So they simplified the game, 1, 2, 3s, 4s, 5s, and then only chance cards. And they're easy, big, and easily readable. Next thing we have is the castles. There's a castle in each different type of color, and these replace your houses in traditional Monopoly. They also replace hotels because there is no smaller version. There's just the castles that come with it. Next thing we have is the dice. It's just 1 die, actually. Instead of 2, you just get 1 because the board, I believe, I haven't opened it yet, the board is actually significantly smaller. So all you have is one six-sided dice in order to, and six-sided die in order to make yourself go around the board. Next thing we have up is obviously the princesses. They all have like different models taken. I'm assuming each of them is taken from a snippet of their actual movies, but they could be art specifically done for this version of Monopoly. I have no idea. I have no way to corroborate that, and I'm not looking it up because I don't care enough to look it up. I'm just here to show you something that I find interesting because I am a weirdo who really likes Monopoly. So, next thing we're going to get into is the actual board itself. As you can see here, the board is obviously significantly smaller. Each of the groupings only have 2 in each. Go starts here. There's no jail here, I'm assuming because in Junior Monopoly, it goes based off of turns. So after you run out of turns, everybody counts up how much money they have, and whoever has the most amount of money wins the game. So you have things like over here, like go to lunch. So essentially go get some food and you pay $3 for your lunch. And it's also over here, that's the lunch space, which I guess is kind of like jail. And then you got over here, which is Mr. Monopoly's loose change. I wish I could explain exactly what like these 2 spaces mean, but there's no rule book in here. It didn't come with a rule book. I guess they lost it. And I believe that the way, because some of the chance cards have a color on them, I believe that the way that you get spots is not actually by buying them, but instead by getting them by chance. I'm guessing that you land on a chance and you get a potential to gain a spot. And then if you land on the spot, because there's no description of it on the card, instead you just pay the amount that's listed actually on them. So this is cool. And one thing you need to know about me is that I don't like these dark blue spaces. In any chessboard, not chessboard, any Monopoly board, there's always these 2 dark blue spaces, and they cost the most. I don't like these spaces at all. I think they're posh, I think they're dumb, and they're boring. And, coincidentally, it has Prince Charming on it. Who likes Prince Charming? Ew. Then you got Jack and Gus. Yeah, I don't know what that's from. I'm assuming Cinderella since she can talk to animals, but that also might be a trait of like every Disney princess, so I don't know who those people are. But my favorite spaces have always been the 2 purples. Sometimes they're brown, they can be different colors, but I usually call them purples because they're usually purple. These have always been my favorite spaces because they are the cheapest. They're cool as heck, and I love them. And coincidentally, these 2 come with Mushu and Shang from my favorite, I don't know if it's my favorite, but one of my favorite Disney movies, Mulan. So obviously, I love that. Amazing. So, I could go on and on. But let's go over a few other spaces. So for the light blues, you have Flounder and Prince Eric, which makes sense, sea-themed or whatever. So for the violets, you have Chip and the Beast. I'm not sure what that has to do with Beauty and the Beast, the color being violet, but obviously when you have a set amount of colors, not everything's going to match up perfectly. I'm assuming they just did it when and where they could. So next up you got oranges, Aladdin and the Genie, another amazing fudging movie. Aladdin is great, and an amazing section. I always love the oranges. For me, it's the purples, the oranges, and the light blues. Those are my favorite. They'll always be my favorite, and I'm not gonna lie, 99% of the time, that's why I tend to lose at Monopoly, because I'm just going for the purple. I will trade you 3 properties just for one of the dang purples. Next up, we got reds. You got Miko and John Smith, obviously from from Pocahontas. Then you have the yellows with Prince Philip, Flora and Fauna Merriweather. That doesn't make it. Flora, Fauna, I'm assuming, and Merriweather, the three magical grandmothers. I think that's what they're called, or like fairy grandmothers, something like that. For the greens, you have the 7 dwarves and the prince, obviously from Sleeping Beauty. And then for the negative cards, you have Ursula and Maleficent, each making you pay 2. And then for the railroads, you obviously have the canoe ride from Pocahontas, Ride Con from Mulan, the magical carpet from Aladdin, and the magic coach from Cinderella. I actually really like this board. I came into this being like, oh, it's silly, whatever, it's Disney princesses. I don't really care about Disney princesses. But this is actually really, really good. A lot of the other Monopolies I have, which I haven't played all of them. I've actually probably only played like 7 of them. Or even opened only like 7 of them. A lot of them are extremely uninspired, using just normal Monopoly pieces. They'll add like a little bit of art direction. Maybe they'll change a name or 2 here. But this is really creative. I like the art. I like the way everything looks. Everything is kind of thematic. I think the castles are just absolutely amazing. I think these are really, really well done. Overall, quality set. So if you're trying to get yourself, your kid, I guess, a Monopoly, a junior Monopoly specifically, I would recommend Disney Princess Monopoly. So, how would I rate this? Well, I didn't know I was going to do a rating system. I guess I just decided that on the fly. But since I have decided it, I'd probably rate this one like a solid, for junior Monopolies. Specifically, I will make the classification between junior and normal Monopolies. For junior Monopolies specifically, I could easily rate this a 7, maybe an 8 out of 10 for junior Monopolies. So obviously, great product. Go pick it up. I absolutely adored it. And if you like this video, please give it a like. If you really want to comment something, but you couldn't possibly think of something to comment down whatever your favorite Disney character is. It doesn't have to be a princess, because honestly, most of these princesses are extremely mid. So just comment your favorite Disney character. Even if you don't really like Disney, just make one up. And I will see you guys later. I love you. Have a beautiful day, and I hope the rest of your time in this world is amazing. Goodbye.